Welcome to the Nitpicking Nerds.
We are going to talk about 20 magic cards that we think are literally unplayable in Commander.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, BZ, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds. We talk about deck techs, Commander stuff, and everything. And right now, we're going to do a little bit of nitpicking, I think, and we're going to talk about what cards we don't like. So if you enjoy that, I would love it if you subscribe to the channel because we're generally pretty cool guys.
Yes, if you're wondering why disclaimer guy isn't here, stick around to the end of the video for a little update.
Yeah, we are in contact with him.
Yes.
He said something, so let's get right into it. What are we actually talking about?
We are talking about we're tuning out cards for winning in higher power level decks. So we're not talking about middle of the road power level. We're talking about like somewhere between 80 and 90% in that area.
So the player, let's say I'm my own target audience. I'm a player who's like, I would like to make my decks better at winning, and I don't really have necessarily any crazy attachments to cards. Or if I do, it's only one or two, and other than that, I'm like, okay, time to buckle down and make this deck cheaper or better or stronger or whatever it is. So we're talking about if these cards are in your deck, I think it's better if every single person on the planet cut these cards out of their deck versus make the mistake of playing it. It's the exact same philosophy they use on limited resources, where they just give a card an F because they're like, if you ever bring this card in from your sideboard, it's probably wrong, so just don't do it.
Yes. So this is different from overrated because it's not. These are overrated cards, obviously, because we're going to be talking about they are in decks, so we think they should be in zero decks. But the difference is, don't play it at all. There's just if budget is not a restriction, get it out. Just out.
Yeah, we talk all the time about how sometimes we do budget content, sometimes we don't. This is not budget content. Budget changes literally everything about how you build a commander deck. So this is just, if this card is in your deck, I don't know that you can justify it. That sounds really like a clickbaity weird assumption or accusation, but I don't know. This is a dumb video.
Yeah,
you don't have to like it.
So what's number one? What's the first? Not number one, but rather the first one that we're talking about.
Right. Arbitrarily number one out of 20, we literally randomize these, is Grave Titan. It's 4 black for a 6/6 death touch. Has death touch for no reason. When it enters or attacks, you make 2/2 black zombie creature tokens.
You get a lot of power for this, but
10 power.
Yeah, you get 10 power for 6, but it doesn't. If you live in, again, we have to go to some sort of budget meta where this matters, where these attacking guys are going to be super relevant. It also has death touch. I hate that.
There's so many things to talk about. Like, I feel like we're going to end up going on a million tangents. You can't win a commander game reliably with just attackers. That's never a thing that you can rely on, unless your whole deck is, extra combats. But I'm very confident that you know what I'm talking about when I say that you can't just win by attacking with a 6/6. This has no synergy with anything. And the things it does have synergy with, it is too low on the totem pole because it's 6 mana. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm trying to win the game.
Yes. Like the synergy, like Nim Death Mantle. It goes infinite with that card, with Ashnod's Altar. But there's like 6 other cards that do that cost less mana.
Yeah, 4 or 2 or 3 mana. That's like all it needs to do, right? The core of, let's say, an Eldrazi Displacer, Infinite Flicker, Ashnod's Altar combo. The core of that is make 2 tokens with an ETB. Grave Titan is not the best at that.
Yeah. Oh, another thing. Oh, this is great. Worth mentioning right here. Coolness factor or anything like that, flavor, anything is not being taken into consideration. Grave Titan obviously has a cool factor of being this giant that has zombies spilling out of his guts. But we're not counting that. That doesn't matter.
That's a good point. If you think any of these cards are just awesome, or it's like the first rare you opened, or you just want to play it, that trumps anything we could ever say to you. There's no objectives with what is cool and what is not cool. We are only talking about the functionality in your deck of this piece of cardboard. Grave Titan's awesome. If you love Grave Titan, play Grave Titan.
Perfect example, actually. Imperial Archangel is unplayable. Should be in
so
0
bad.
EDH decks. It's horrible. BZ has a deck within it because he loves the card so much. And that we can never argue with. Obviously, there are always exceptions to what we're saying, but you got to understand, we're talking about functionality.
Yeah, so if Joe says Imperial Archangel should never make any commander deck, I can be like, yeah, but I'm playing it because it's awesome. And he has to say, yeah, I respect that. That's it. But I can't say, oh, Imperial Archangel is a busted Magic card and should go in X decks objectively.
Yes. Oh, next one is a card I've played before, and I can tell you why I wouldn't play it again.
We've played most of these.
It is Avenger. No, it is rather Zendikar Resurgent, not Avenger. Avenger Zendikar. We're not talking about that today. Zendikar Resurgent. This is a 7 mana doubler that also, when you cast a creature, you draw a card. At this point, especially at this point in time, after the past year or two of Magic's printing, we have a ton of ways to draw for creatures. So many, it's insane. And now let's now put this into perspective. This is 7 mana. So you go, this is a tap out spell. You go, tap out for my 7 mana spell. Oh, you guys just wait. When I untap, you're done for.
That's the common theme. So many of these are just you guys wait until I untap after dumping all my resources into one basket, and it won't necessarily even win me the game next turn. Just you wait. It's like, no, don't wait. Win the game now.
You can get both sides just way better. For 7 mana, you can get a Nyxbloom Ancient, which will triple your mana, which is also a creature that is tutable out. And like Beast Whisperer, Guardian Project in the past year, better ways to draw cards. You can just, both of those sides can be had better, and combining them into one card for 7 mana, not worth it.
Yeah, this video isn't necessarily saying, oh, Zendikar Resurgent is worse than Tooth and Nail, because you could just win with that card. It's not that there's one card better, so don't ever play it. It's that there's 55 cards better, and you shouldn't even have to go close to playing it, I think is what we're getting at.
Yes, exactly. You're going to, like, I just listed like 2 or 3 really quickly, like alternatives if you're looking for those kind of effects. There's way more. Way more than that.
Oh, yeah. So another one, number 3. These numbers are very important. Let's keep track of these numbers. Number 3 is Acidic Slime. 5 mana for a 2/2 Death Touch. When it enters, you destroy an artifact, an enchantment, or a land. This used to be like pinnacle of green creatures. It was right up there with like Eternal Witness. I totally remember back in like 2011 and 2012 and 2013. Mm-hmm. And I have never been happy with it ever. And it always looks bad when I see it. And the Death Touch never matters. It's just a dorky 2/2. You just don't want it.
Okay. The Death Touch doesn't matter enough. It does matter sometimes, because there is definitely board states where it's like there's a 6/6 not coming at you because you have a Death Toucher. But it's not relevant enough. If you can cut off 2 mana to get that Rex Sage, so worth it. Hitting the lands, just not overall worth it. Just your land slots are what's going to destroy lands, or you're going to have like some of those awesome spells that just hit everything, like Beast Within, Generous Gift. You're going to have stuff like that to get rid of lands.
I mean, I'm comparing this card to Nature's Claim, and it just makes me so sad. Just play a Ghost Quarter in your deck. Play a Wasteland. Play a Strip Mine. Play Titanic Edge. Play any 2 of those cards or whatever. You just don't need to tack on 2 mana and give it, you're adding Death Touch and maybe you destroy a land. I'm not paying 5 mana to destroy a land. I feel like I'm losing the game.
Yeah, like we said, Death Touch, just not relevant enough to be worth that 2 mana. No, not even close to relevant enough. Like, say this was a 3 mana card, then it's like, well, now it's just awesome, because now I get to tack on the land and that for no mana, but it's not the case.
No, it's not. No, it is not the case.
So next up, we have Veraska The Unseen. That's what we think of this card. She pluses to do essentially nothing. If a creature hits her, it dies.
Whoa. Yeah, she should be unseen at commander tables.
Yeah.
-3 is destroy an island permanent. Okay, but I paid 3 black-green for this, and then I don't get anything else?
Then she's guaranteed to die. She's almost guaranteed to die in the comeback.
The worst part is her ultimate is, even if this is a 5 mana ultimate, you make 3 assassins that say when they hit someone they lose, but they're just 1/1s that can be interacted with. Like it should be templated how the other Vraska is from the Golgari Queen, where it says your creatures now have this ability. But even her Planeswalker ultimate dies to like Shrivel.
No, it's funny. I think if this was like a 5 mana make those 3 guys, we might be arguing for why we wouldn't play that card in EDH.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, what is this? What is this synergy? How does this tie your deck together? It's not efficient, right? The efficient cards outbeat the synergy cards, like Nature's Claim and Swords to Plowshares, and then the synergy cards can outbeat some of the other clunkier stuff. And I don't understand what this does at all.
Yeah, where is the synergy? There is just no synergy with this card anywhere to be found. I don't know. There's just not much to talk about because I don't see where this card fits. This is one where there are some of these on here where I'm like, okay, maybe you can make some argument. Where you can maybe convince me.
Right.
Maybe. This one, you're not going to convince me. There's no way. There's just the card is unplayable.
There's just no deck that is trying to be efficient and wants to play Veraska. When we looked at EDH Rec for the stats on a lot of these, and Joe's like, oh, it's only in 61 decks. I'm like, it got added to 61 decks this week.
That's disgusting. That card sucks.
direct shout out to all 61 of you. Get it out of there.
Yeah, if you're one of the 61, get you out of here.
Whoa, no, I don't. I respect people. I just, maybe there's better choices for you. Number 5 is 2 cards, kind of. It's really like 150 cards. Oblivion Ring and Banishing Light and every other enchantment that enters the battlefield. We will throw Grasp of Fate on here. Every enchantment that enters the battlefield and exiles threats until it leaves.
The problem with these is, well, there's a million problems with these, but you put a creature under it. Now, when that thing dies, it comes back and any possible enter the battlefield happens again. They get more advantage. This card is so bad. Like, you just can't afford to go 3 mana, get rid of your thing temporarily.
3 mana sorcery speed 1-for-1. Can you name any of those that are good at all in the format? And this isn't even particularly great.
It's a worse version of those because, like, say you play something like a Maelstrom Pulse. That's an example. Like, I wouldn't call Maelstrom Pulse unplayable because it has enough of little utility that I would say, okay, you could throw that in a deck somewhere.
Oh, you said Maelstrom Pulse, and I need to shout out the one fringe deck that I thought Maelstrom Pulse was great in, the Commander's Brew Spy Kit deck, where you equip Spy Kit to your own creature, and then you Maelstrom Pulse it, so it destroys every creature in play. It has all names of all creatures, so it destroys everything because they all have the same name.
Okay, well that's cute. Yeah, no, see, there is stuff like that, and like there is fringe playability for a card like that. Oblivion Ring, it doesn't. Like, I think the effect is good. You go boop and you take it, and now if that's where it ended, and they couldn't get it back, then you have a playable spell that can go in like enchantment sec. That's not where it ends.
No,
because now as soon as a random board wipe just sweeps off the board, suddenly one player is left with their best creature because you got rid of their best creature, obviously.
Yeah, I'm talking like. We're talking no decks. So Enchantment Tribal, you cast this, you draw a card, and I'm still not in. I'm still not playing this when I draw a card. There's plenty of other, you want some replacements for this. We said like Kenra's Transformation's great. The 0/1 bug, the indestructible makes them a 0/1 indestructible.
The tree one.
That turn them into a forest land. Just keep it out. Turn it into something. Pacifism is like better. And pacifism's terrible.
Yeah, I agree. Pacifism is better than O-Ring. I would agree with that sentiment. Okay, so next is Archetype of Endurance. This is 8 mana, and essentially all your creatures have Hexproof. And all creatures your opponents have loose Hexproof, but that doesn't matter. Oh my god. What are you doing? 8 mana. You're spending 8 mana to give your stuff Hexproof? Why? What does that do?
How much setup do you need? Just win.
Like, at 8 mana, yeah, I know we're not going to say... I know the Tooth and Nail argument isn't there, but at 8 mana... Tooth and Nail is 1 more mana, and it is, even if you're not going for a win at all.
It's your 2 best creatures.
It doesn't even matter. This card is so bad.
It's just not efficient at all. Like, the 8 mana is where you play the things that you want to protect, not play the thing that protects the things that you're going to want to protect next turn. Was too many hoops. Just cut this middleman out and, take your owls when the creature dies, or play cheaper creatures so you don't even care if they die.
Hexproof is fine if it's a free roll on the creature. When the whole card is just about giving Hexproof, that's when the card's not very good.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's just we need cards that give Hexproof. Just like people who play, this isn't even on the list, but I would say this is an unplayable card. That stupid card that gets rid of Hexproof, Arcane, like Lighthouse.
Oh, I think that's what it is.
Well,
they lose Hexproof this turn, they can't.
That card's so unplayable. Holy crap, that card's unplayable.
It's like a meta call, but I'm not. I think that's a whole different, like, should you or should you not? Or are you in a position to make meta calls? And is that good or bad for you overall? I don't think that we're talking about it now. But maybe that card will be in that video.
Yeah, sure. And next one, Narset of the Ancient Ways. This is new, so it's making its way into a lot more decks recently. It was one of the top, it was being put in a bunch of decks, and that's why we brought it up here. She is 1 and a, what is it?
Jeskai.
And she pluses to make one of the Jeskai color mana.
And you gain 2 life.
And that's her plus. That's awful. She minuses to draw a card. Well, that sounds okay. But then you discard a card, and then you can deal damage to a creature. No.
Can I say something? That actually didn't sound okay. That still sounded really bad.
Yeah, you're right. It was minusing. This card does not do nearly enough. This really belongs in 0 decks. It does. It is a standard made card.
This is a shoe-in for my trade binder deck. For sure. And we still gotta make that trade binder video. But this is not for decks that are trying to do things in a focused and efficient way. No, it's a 4-mana mana rock. I can't even communicate to you how little this does.
No, it does. I mean, again, the way that EDH works, planeswalkers are they have to be real good to overcome how bad they are in the format. You play this and it probably dies after gaining you 2 life.
Yep, it gains you 2 life. I don't know that on turn 4 you're using 1 mana to cast a non-creature spell.
That's rough.
Just forget about it. Just forget it ever existed and it won't hurt you.
All right, what's next?
Well, we've mentioned this before, so we'll cover it quickly. Pillar of Origins. This is a trap. I know it says tribal and it looks like it's incentivizing you to play tribal cards, but they messed up when they were making this card. I don't know what they did wrong. Well, I do actually, but I don't know why they printed it, because it only taps for the creature spell that you name. So if you're a dinosaur deck, you can play, Pillar of Origins. First of all, complete non-consideration to any green deck, right? So we've already eliminated every green deck because we don't play mana rocks that are like that. Any tribal deck with any spells, instants, or sorceries, or permanents, or things you can spend mana on that are not the creature type, get this out of here. It's worse than everything else. It's worse than Felwar Stone. It's worse than any signet, any talisman. How many 2-drops mana rocks do you need to be better than this before?
This card is absolutely unplayable in like any decks. And like you said, we mentioned it before. So let's just move right on to the next one. And it's Hero's Downfall. 1 black, destroy target creature or planeswalker. It's an instant. There's a million better versions of this at this point. This card is so medium. The removal is, there's a million versions of removal all over the place. And we're just getting better and better removal all the time. They're starting to tack on in like a common destroying planeswalkers.
Oh yeah.
It's getting crazy.
I mean this, so the difference, one other difference between overrated and unplayable is I think Putrefy and Mortify are overrated. I think Hero's Downfall is unplayable.
Yes, I agree.
That's just that there's the gap there where you have like no versatility. You don't need to destroy a planeswalker in Commander. You don't need to. It's basically already dead.
Yeah, so now think about what card you're playing. You're playing Murder.
Well, that's bad.
Yep, Murder is so far, we wouldn't even discuss it here because it's so far down that it's just like, obviously no one's playing Murder except in their dumb budget decks. And not dumb, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you dumb. In your budget deck.
Jeez, dumb budget decks. This Cherries thinks everyone's dumb. Watches this video.
I hate Murder.
We think murder should be illegal.
Yes.
Number 10, Maze of Ith. It's a land that doesn't produce mana, so it's fallen way out of favor. And you know what card that replaced this for us, if it was ever even going to be in the deck? Freaking Thematic Compass.
Yes, I don't like Maze of Ith at all. I mean, not producing mana, there's a few ways to make it produce mana, but it usually does not. It's taking up a land drop a lot of the times. Obviously, you put this in a spell slot, but I just can't find a reason to play this card. It's tough for me to think. You'd have to have some weird effect like that doesn't exist yet, where it's like whenever a land you control targets a creature an opponent controls, draw a card. It's like, okay, I guess in that situation, for that random card I just made up, Maze of Ith is suddenly playable.
Right. It was never even that great. Not every deck even wanted it, and the decks that do, they're like, oh sweet, I can just play an artifact, not waste my land drop, go find lands, and then it'll flip into Maze of Ith. How many Maze of Iths do you need?
You don't even need one.
I think most decks don't even need one.
Yeah, it turns out that the Thematic Compass just happens to ramp you, and there happens to be a Maze of Ith on the other side, but it didn't really matter that was Maze of Ith.
I'm not sure how bad the land could have been on the other side. I think we'd still love it.
Yeah, exactly.
That card's great.
Yeah. Next, Arcanus the Omnipotence. God, I hate this.
What does he do?
He taps to draw, 3 cards, right?
Okay, but how much mana is he?
6 mana. And he's, what's his power toughness?
Is it 3/4?
I knew it was weak.
You can pay 4 mana to bounce him back to your hand. Would you like to pay 6 mana for him again?
Okay. Let's just do the math. Okay. 6 mana to draw 3 cards is not good. 6 mana to draw 6 cards is reasonable.
That's good.
Okay. So here's the situation. You've played a card. It went around the table. You drew 3. It went around the table. You drew 3. And everyone knew you could do that and still let it happen.
Yeah, that's bizarre. This is really weird because I don't. I wouldn't even play this in my goal is to untap and tap all my creatures over and over. It's so expensive. Just play a creature that taps to draw a card, and give that haste or something. I don't like it's so even these cards. It's just so hard to communicate.
Yeah, it's so hard to communicate. It's like I want to show you. Magic is a place where there are so many different cards that do so many different things. I'm in a game, not a place, but there are so many powerful cards, and there are so many different levels of playability. Like these are hitting like the bottom of the pole where it's like I don't even get it because like this card isn't good. It just doesn't offer you nearly enough at that position.
The risk is ridiculously high. When you play a 6 mana spell and it could die or be, reduced to nothing, and you can't get something out of it in the format where everything needs to do something, you got to do something right away. You got to affect every opponent. You got to affect all players. You're trying, there's big splashy plays every other turn, and you can't just go tap out for a 3/4. It's not going to block well. It's not going to draw me cards because it might just get swept up in something. And dice removal is not an argument. The argument is, why would you do this when you don't have to wait? You can play. There's cards like, if you want to talk about like Flow of Ideas, that's like a 6 mana draw 9. Or the ceiling is higher, the floor is lower. You don't have to wait. It just gives you the cards right now.
Same thing with like recurring insight. It's like, if you really want a ton of card draw for 6 mana, there you go. You're not, this 3/4 body is not relevant. It will never be relevant. And the bouncing is not relevant because now pay 6 mana. Oh, I have to bounce it back to mana to protect them. Pay 6 mana. What?
How much time do you have? You're playing against the archetype of endurance guy.
Yeah, the guy, like, nobody wants to. You're playing at a table where just everyone wants to just do nothing, apparently.
Yeah, you got to be proactive. You can't never wait. Never just go, if I just give me 4 more turns to set up. Like, you don't know what the game's gonna look like in 4 turns. Impact the board now. Build up your critical mass. That's almost every deck we do. Is like, I have a combo I'm digging for, or once I get enough stuff, I win the game just by virtue of what my things do. This is none of that. It's not gonna win. It's probably not even going to get you ahead on cards. I just don't see the point.
Yeah. Next, Explosive Vegetation. This is the one worth mentioning quickly. This card has been upgraded in, like, they're reprinting tons of versions of it. They're all better. There's just no point in having Explosive Vegetations anymore. It gets 2 basics tapped for 4 mana. We have the cycling version. We have the gates version. We have the new one from Zendikar that you can
the kicker.
It's not very good, but they're all way better than this. Veggies has officially, I think, it was like very, very fringe in my book, and it's hit unplayable because of all these new versions we're getting.
So the card is actually, this is weird because this is the one that's actually like playable. Like, this effect does things and is proven to be okay, but there's no reason to play this exact card because you have 6 or 7 better ones, and your deck never wants more than like 2 or 3.
Yes.
So just, you never have to go for the strictly worse. Like, give yourself a 1%, 2% boost for free. These cards all cost 2 cents. So give yourself a 1%, 2% boost whenever you cast this card for free value. Like, that's how you win games. You just get incremental, like, for free value. I would take that.
Yeah, you're not going crazy on 4-drop ramp, but there is some that are playable. This one is just, it's absolutely not there.
Yeah, usually for me, Sky Shroud Claim is the only one that ever makes it now.
Yeah, for the most part, that's the one I play the most.
Yeah. So number 13, very similar to Grave Titan. It's Rampaging Bailouts, 6/6 for 6 with trample, landfall, make a 4/4. That's so much power. You can make like 3 4/4s a turn.
Hey, we've actually put this in the deck before. There was a budget restriction.
So what's wrong with it?
What's wrong with it? It's the same problem that Grave Titan has. So let's just say you play it on turn 7 when you have your extra lands up, or whenever. You play it when you get 10 power. Okay, it's 10 vanilla power on the field. I don't know. I don't want to spend 6 mana on 10 vanilla power. It doesn't sound good.
That's exactly Grave Titan.
Yeah, exactly. And then next turn you can get another one. It's just like Grave Titan, but it's just like, where are we going with this? I mean, do we have something to pay these off? Maybe.
Let's say yes. Let's say we're the landfall deck. We play Rampaging Bailouts on turn 7, and then we play 4 lands, and now we have 4 4/4s and a 6/6. I don't even see where that gets you.
I mean, it's a good board. It's definitely a good board state.
Sure.
You're going to be able to do good attacks. It's not going to win you the game from there. And at 6 mana, you can do things that are much more powerful again. But how are you even playing those 4 lands? You have to put a ton of resources in, and then it happens to be okay.
Right. Then you get good blockers, and you can say, all right, well, now someone's maybe incentivized to board wipe, or maybe not. I don't know what the climate looks like after that, but you kind of look like you're ahead. It kind of gives you the appearance of being like dominant, and then also the reality that you're not actually in much better position than before you played it. Yeah,
it's too much of an investment. You have to play it and then do stuff afterward. You can't just play it. Exactly. It's another one of these. The next one's this too, where you play it. You pay 6 mana and you go, just wait till I untap on my 6 mana thing.
Well, sometimes it's you play it, make no bailouts, and then you go, just wait till my next turn when I make a bunch of bailouts. And then after that, just wait till the next turn when all my bailouts can attack you and deal 12 damage. It's like, what? No. Don't need that.
While we're talking about bailiffs just randomly, I love Canopy Bailiff. It's just a bailiff sitting in a tree. It's so good.
It's like ready to pounce on someone.
It's this giant thing just in a tree. I love it.
He's like the size of it.
Yeah, it's funny.
On some floating rock. Next, Warstorm Surge. 5 in a red for an enchantment. Whenever a creature enters under your control, it's going to deal damage equal to its power to any target. Just wait, Joe. Just wait until I untap with Warstorm Surge. I'm going to put 7 power into play, and I'm going to kill 2 creatures and deal 3 to your face. Wait, how much mana did I spend? 6?
47.
Oh, no, that's not good.
Yeah, it's Warstorm Surge. Absolutely. Just this effect. This is a powerful effect. If you can, maybe you can't cheat it out. Is the thing. You're just not cheating it out enough. And there's other cards to cheat out that are just going to have more an effect in the game. You can get the 1 mana versions or the 2 mana versions, the Impact Tremors. Oh my God, Impact Tremors only doing 1 damage, still insanely better than Warstorm. Perforos, insanely better than.
Do you want what card's insanely better than this?
What?
The 5 mana 5/4 mythic rare Hellkite that has the exact same text on it, but it's a creature, so you can clone it and make a bunch of them and then combo kill them. It's like you just don't need Warstorm Surge.
Yeah,
it's like a training wheel or something. Just get it out of there.
Yeah, exactly. This is probably a card that was good 5, 6, 7 years ago, but is absolutely falling off the face of the earth.
Oh, it is, because you take the training wheels off your bike and then you go faster. But they were making you feel safe, and you didn't know. You didn't know that you could go faster without them. We're helping you. You should send us $100 bills.
Yes. Patreon.com/user/ Nitpicking Nerds, $100 bills.
Yes, a $100 bill tier. Next up is number 15, and it's 2 cards. They're not even that similar. Argentum Armor is a 6 mana equipment. Creature gets +6/+6, and when it attacks, you destroy target permanent. And it only equips for 6. And you have Darksteel Plate, which is a 3 mana indestructible artifact. It's indestructible, and it only equips for 3. So for 6 mana sorcery speed, you can make something indestructible and nothing else. Okay. What do you think about these?
Let's start with Argentum Armor. 6 mana investment, 6 mana equip, 12 mana investment. Now if I attack, I have destroyed 1 permanent.
We haven't even gotten, before you attack, you can have spent 12 mana and there's no payoff.
And then your opponent plays a removal spell on your guy, and you spent 12 mana to get no value. This has to be one of the worst ones. This card is so bad.
Here's why. I actually figured out why it's in so many decks. Is because if it looks good in your head, not that I'm not making fun of anybody, but if you think it's good, right, and you put it in your deck, you'll never get to play with it. You won't ever have the mana to actually equip it, so you'll just go, oh man, if only I could have equipped it, it would have been really good. It's like, no, it was bad because you could never equip it. You never had the mana.
Darksteel Plate, this doesn't avoid enough removal. It doesn't remove any. It doesn't go around exile type effect. It doesn't get around board wipes. And you've spent 6 mana, and now your creature is indestructible, and he's safe from 40% of removal, we'll say.
Right, because a lot of the good removal is good because it dodges not necessarily Darksteel Plate, but it says I can use my Toxic Deluge and Cyclonic Rift and all my bounce, my evacuations and my even Mutilate and just Tragic Arrogance. All these cards that just are great, independent of whether this card's in your deck or not, and you putting it in isn't really tricking any of those cards.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's so bad. Like I said, 40%, I'm giving a generous number. That's dodging. If dodging 40% removal is probably too generous, because that's not worth it. What if that's what the card says? Would you play that? 3 mana for an equipment that dodges 3% of removal, or
40%
that dodges 40% removal, and then it can pay 3 to equip it to a creature, and now the creature dodges 40% of removal. That sounds absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, when you do the math, like if it said flip a coin, if you win the flip, the creature this equipment does nothing, right? Like that doesn't really sound great to me. Number 16, this video is just random stuff we were thinking about, and we just threw it together into some rant. This is Filigree Angel. It's an 8 mana something with flying. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life for each artifact you control. So what?
I've seen this in multiple decks. I have seen this in more than one deck. I want to be clear. It's not like I haven't seen this card. It's not like this card sees no play. And we didn't look up the numbers in this one because I just seen it in paper enough that I'm just like, why?
The number is not 0.
This is an absolute 0 card. I mean, gaining 3 life for each artifact is just not something that's good enough. I don't even understand where it's coming from or why you would want it.
It's 8 mana. I'd rather give my creatures hexproof.
Yeah, Filigree Angel. Poop. I mean,
thank you.
Yeah, let's just move on because I could poop on that card all day.
Let's move on to Phyrexian Arena that wastelands you. It's Underworld Connections. So it's Phyrexian Arena, which we don't like. It's overrated. And, our opinion. Everything's our opinion. And also wasteland you because you can't do anything unless you use one of your lands for not mana every turn.
So here's your choice. This is what you get. You can either have Phyrexian Arena or you can have the land that you got rid of.
Whoa. Yeah. So if you just
So bad.
if you just pay 3 mana and discard this card, it's like you played a mana rock. That's pretty good.
This is I don't remember the number on EDH Rec again. It's tough to remember the numbers, but this one is like there's so many. Some of these are so mind-boggling. Like when I say Warstorm Surge, yeah, it's like I understand the appeal of a Warstorm Surge. I understand where people's minds are at.
Right. It was in a lot of past decks. You know, I'm sure like Commander power level has spiked a ton. Lately,
Yeah.
So I'm not going to fault anybody. In 2004 for playing, you know, that wasn't even out then, but in 2004, if you're playing Warstorm Surge, I'm not going to fault you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But then it's just my mind gets blown by like Underworld Connections. Where if budget is not included and this is not a trade binder, what?
Ooh, you're just like making cartoon eyes. Like, what?
Yeah, it's mind-boggling to me. This card is incredibly bad.
Yeah. Next up, Liliana of the Dark Realms or the Dank Realms. It's 2 black for 3 loyalty. Liliana +1. You search for a swamp, baby. That's Demonic Tutor for a swamp. -3. Destroy target creature. Well, no. Target creature gets -X, where X is the number of swamps you control. Notably, that will kill Liliana. So that'd be a 4 mana sorcery. Mutilate one thing. No, and her ultimate is swamps now tap for quadruple mana.
Okay, so let's
break it down.
I think this is the only card. Nope, the next one too.
Oh yeah,
this and the next card are the only cards that I know people in paper actively play.
Oh, okay. So like Filigree Angel, you've seen, but you know of people who play these.
Yes, like currently, like I know that those. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus.
I played against Liliana last week.
Yeah, I know you did.
It ultimated.
That was how? How did it ultimate? What is going on at your table?
Well, see, here's the thing. I equipped Argentum armor to my archetype of endurance, and I just needed one more turn. That was the issue. Just need one more turn. They wouldn't know what would hit them.
All right,
18 mana in.
It gets swamps out of your deck. That's not very good. If it plus the draw card, it still wouldn't be very good.
The minus is useless. This Planeswalker has almost no versatility. It's not draw a card, lose a life. Maybe if it started at 4 and could minus and survive, like kill a creature, get 2 swamps, dies, that's okay. It's just not even close to that.
You just can't reliably get to its ultimate.
No, you can't reliably get to its minus. Come on now. All right. Well, we're having a lot of fun with these last ones, and it's going to get even better. Number 19 is Runescarred Demon. I used to play this card back in the day when I was 13. Is 5 black for a 6/6 flyer, enters the battlefield, Demonic Tutor. That's a good card. Demonic Tutor is a good card.
Okay, so let's
break it down.
Let's break it down. Let's talk about why Demonic Tutor is good. You can cast the best spell in your deck for an additional 2 mana.
Wow.
Whoa, that's really good. That's also why Snapcaster is good, because you can cast the best card in your graveyard for an additional 2 mana.
Right, and this one is an additional 7 mana.
Oh.
So you're never going to cast it on the same turn. This is, if you know the common theme of the episode, this is just you wait until I untap after searching for a card and my 6/6 flyer. And we were talking about, the thing you can do with this one is spam it and, abuse the enter the battlefield ability. That's what I would think is the difference between this and Demonic Tutor. But it's 7 mana. So you're either casting it for 7 mana and then going to find like Deadeye Navigator and then playing that for 6 mana and then soulbinding it. So now you're 6, 13, 15 mana in and you've gotten 1 extra tutor. So and then maybe you can win the game, I guess. That's like 25,000. That's just, we lost count. That's too much mana. Or you can try to discard it and put it in the graveyard and then reanimate it with like reanimate or animate dead. But now you're paying 1 or 2 mana to tutor for a card. Just play Demonic Tutor, Vampiric Tutor, they're already Grim Tutor. They're out here.
Okay, so I feel like we're going to get the comment section for this one because they're going to be like, what about my Kalia deck? No. Still no. It's not even worth cheating and play like that. I mean, also, you have to always take into consideration with Kalia. I know you want to cheat in big fatties, but there's so many other better big fatties to cheat in. Are you cheating in this to tutor for a card? Just play Demonic Tutor.
Right.
I know Demonic Tutor is $50, and that's why we said budget's not included.
Right. Tutor for a card. Now that's the angel or dragon you actually want, and then put that into play.
Yes.
Right. Just skip the middleman. That's 7 mana.
And the last one, because we just want to go off and just complain about everything. Again.
More so you.
Halimar Depths. This card sucks.
What does it do?
This Halimar Depths is a tapped land that only produces blue, and
there's more?
When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put them back in any order.
Wow. For no mana. Actually, for -1 mana.
I want to be so. There is a new card in Zendikar that is a force spike or a tap land. Okay,
it's worse than that. It's 1 in a blue.
One in the blue.
Censor or a tap land.
So it's censor or it's a tap land. I think that card is infinitely better than Halimar Depths.
And that card is butts.
I think that card is butts. But I would, before I put Halimar Depths in my deck, I would put that card in. It is gonna be more relevant for you to make somebody pay 1 mana in more games than it is for you to rearrange the top 3.
Right, when you can't put any on the bottom. If it was Scry 3, that's so much different. It's just...
Well, that card's insane.
This is very close to look at the top 3 cards of your library.
How insane... The card is insane if it scries 3. I mean,
sure, yeah. I mean, Temples are good and they scry 1.
Yeah, scry 3 for... Yeah, I would take that card all day.
Right. This is not that. Don't think it's that.
It is... Again, it isn't irrelevant. I know I'm being slightly hyperbolic, but it is not even close to relevant enough for you to want to play it. Being a tap land in only 1 color is so hard. Maybe if this was like a dual land,
like blue black.
Yeah, if you put this, as soon as you add a second color to this card becomes playable. And it's like, okay, I'm still getting a dual land. I'm getting slight advantage for being tapped. The 1 color to the very slight advantage is just nothing. It's nothing, and it's a horrible card.
This is our favorite card to hate on. It's not close. This is the enemy of the channel. If you have a Halimar Depths deck list, and you just comment the deck list with Halimar Depths in it, and I promise you I will recommend, every single person I'll recommend a better card.
Every single one. I really do believe this, and I know I'm being slightly hyperbolic about it, but I even think that the tapped, it's a new Zendikar card. On the back, it's a tapped island. On the front, it's -2/-0 to opponent's creatures. I think that card's better. I really do, and I don't think that card's good.
Right. These are the worst ones of the cycle of cards that is good, but they're never going to see play, and they're so much better than this.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. I wouldn't put that card in a deck, but I would put it in before Halimar Depths.
Right. A Halimar Depths. I know you have a Miracle deck, and I know you have an Odds Matter top deck. This is still not good enough. There's too many spells that do brainstorm effects. Look at the top, tutor to the top, fiddle with the top. There's just too many. Just play an island, cast your spells sooner. It's strictly better. Sure, it's strictly better to just have more mana to use than to waste a mana and just fiddle around with the top 3.
I just thought it was funny that you fiddle top, Sensei's divining top, fiddles with the top. I don't know. In my head, that was funny.
Funny you should mention Sensei's divining top. Because number 21, there isn't a number 21.
It's Sensei's Divining Top.
This card sucks.
You should play it in every one of your decks. Special shout-outs, this is the end of the video, to all of our patrons. We love you all as much as we can without making you uncomfortable. You guys are the poopy babies. If you want to join them and become a patron and help support this channel, because honestly, I can't even explain how important every one of these patrons is and how much they really help this channel. It's hard to express it in words because they're the reason we get to sit here and complain about Magic.
We're literally just yelling about 20 cards that we pulled up randomly, and we're just like, these cards suck. How do we try to be helpful, but also we want to be nitpicky and fun and quirky with it? Patrons let us do that. So if you want to become a patron, even though the world's ending, what do you need money for if the world's ending?
Yeah, exactly. We need money to make stuff look cooler.
For our nefarious devices. We got to find Disclaimer Guy. If you want Disclaimer Guy back, I mean, I don't see how you're not throwing money at us.
Yeah.
I felt bad saying that.
Yeah, throw money at us so that Disclaimer, if you become...
We're holding him hostage.
If you become a $200 patron, I will unlock Disclaimer Guy.
I think that's illegal. We're literally holding a fictional character hostage. Can't do that. Yeah,
what? He's not fictional?
Oh, sorry. I meant integral character to the show.
Yeah,
but we have news now in the middle of the shout-outs that we need to give.
No,
fine. First, if you want to see him again, you will listen to this shout-out. You can go to the description and click the link. And go to tcgplayer.com. Are you with me? Buy whatever you want on the site, and then we get money for that. And you can also buy Nitpicking Nerds. I swear to God, if you look away, he's done. Look away, and there is no more Disclaimer Guy. Buy our merch, or you don't have to. If you want a shirt and you like us, buy merch.
Yeah, we're working on making it look as good as possible. We currently
might do some redesigns.
Yeah, exactly.
So you will have, if you buy one right now and we redesign it, one of a kind. One of several kinds.
Yeah, everyone already saw Sam wearing it in the last video.
Okay, what's going on with Disclaimer Guy?
He's on vacation. He actually sent us some photos. So here's what he sent us. We'll put it up on screen.
Yeah, he's not dead. He's just exploring the world. I don't know if he's going to come back. We didn't ask him. We don't know if he's going to come back.
No, he hasn't called us. He's just sending us postcards.
Right. So we're in communication, kind of like a one-way.
Yeah, you should see. Yeah, he's been a lot of cool places, and we're showing you all. They're scrolling through the screen.
Good for him.
Good
you know,
for
explore. He's only 20-something, so he's a young intern.
Yeah,
Kind of explore the world.
I heard he quit smoking, so maybe his voice will be less deep.
I doubt it.
He is said in the postcard he quit smoking.
Wow, that's big. If you didn't know, smoking is a big issue in Disclaimer Guy's life, and he's overcoming that.
He's taking up vaping.
Oh, all right. Never mind. Okay, we're done. This video is just complete nonsense.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We love you guys. Peace out, Tribe Scout.